Hey, I figured this would be a good opportunity as any to explain what I'm doing and a bit of pre-race day prep. I thought this was a good angle and the sun's looking beautiful. So what am I doing here? I'm effectively harvesting sorrel, which is a type of, it's like baby spinach, but it's not quite baby spinach. Let's see if I can get it in camera. But the reason I'm doing this is for a meal that I'm about to have. So it's the day before the race, the big City to Bay, which I promised myself last year or declared as a goal that I wanted to run it in under 40 minutes. Now, unfortunately, we're not quite there, but that's okay. I've kind of learned a lot in the process of training and spending about 12 months on this goal. And I can say that I'm quite a long way further than I thought I'd ever be. And I'm glad I set such a big goal. Because see, the thing is, even though I haven't necessarily achieved it, all that I've learned along the way and how I've challenged myself and to kind of really push the concept of the tempo run, which I started around this time last year, has been transformative for my confidence in the sense of how I explain why I run, but also transformative in the sense that I've been able to run in a way that's protected my body and hasn't put me at risk of injury, meaning I can compound seasons. So sometimes it might be a bit boring to note that you're not going to necessarily, have tremendous growth year on year. You'll still have growth, but sometimes you'll kind of just, knees locking up a bit, have to just kind of keep it steady, really. I'm going to use this to sit on it a bit. Yeah, that's all right. Doesn't really work, but that's okay. And that's kind of like why I wanted to kind of just do this recording now, because it made me think about where I'm at with the running at this point in time. Like, I kind of set myself a couple of goals. Like, I wanted to run Corporate Cup in 16 minutes, which I have done twice already. I'll eventually do a video on this. And then I've also wanted to run a 10K in under 40, which we haven't done yet, but we've gotten pretty close. But I definitely wanted to do the City to Bay in under 40, and I wanted to run a half marathon in 90 minutes. So how's that progressed? Like, I've gotten the half marathon, I've only done two, down to 93 minutes. And now I kind of feel that at the moment I'm in the best shape of my running journey ever. So I kind of feel that I'm getting closer to a point of being able to harness that. And that will be particularly evident with how I go tomorrow for the City to Bay. So all things going equal, I'm hoping that I can put between 46 and 48 minutes on the clock, which puts me well underneath the 50-minute time and also guarantees my placement for the next year. See, I had to get quite lucky this year with reaching out, and the fact that I was awarded or given the opportunity to compete makes me feel incredibly grateful. And I guess it's kind of like quite an exciting feeling to see how far I've come in other aspects of life to kind of this point now. So it's been an interesting 12 months about understanding, I guess, as you kind of get older, how to balance the realities of goals with other commitments that you have. So that's kind of been quite a rewarding feeling to kind of see how you can put it all together. Because I mean, to some extent, I kind of wanted to run the Victor Harbour Half Marathon in December, but I think with planning and some things, that's not necessarily going to eventuate. However, you shouldn't necessarily feel that you have to do all these things, and there's kind of ways around it. So I like to think that if I could still go out all by myself and, put in this effort of a half marathon in under 90 minutes, then I will have kind of had that opportunity to crystallize where I'm at, to kind of say that, like, well, hey, I did it. But also to myself to know how far I've come, to kind of give me that sense of accomplishment, really. It's funny, like running, like, I know I'm going to keep going with it. And I've seen people that have kind of lost a lot of the luster after running a marathon. So I'm trying to like structure the goals in the way that it just keeps me wanting to keep on it. And yeah, I'm really grateful for where I'm at in that sense, that I've been quite self-aware of that. I think a lot of people get mystified over chasing a particular goal for running, And then shortly after they manifest it, they don't really have anything else. And then, not to say they fall back to old habits, and they like a lot of what they've gained through running is lost. Like maybe they transpose it somewhere else. But I like to think running something that I want to be doing the rest of my life. Like much like cycling, even though I don't do it a lot, I still have all the benefits and knowledge of like how to ride a bike, how to help people get on a bike, and all that stuff. So I guess that's kind of where I kind of see myself, and kind of in this role now where the day before a race, like it's not necessarily a big thing, but I'm just trying to like just do me, like normal stuff that I do, to not overwork myself. And you know, I ran a couple errands in the morning and I did an easy run. Like that was really cool. Like I wasn't going to go out and do something stupid, but like normally I'm doing a long run now, so I guess as part of the taper it was kind of nice to not have to worry. Like race bibs pinned, I've got the nutrition plan for tomorrow, we're carbing up, we're getting some greens in because these are a powerhouse of iron. So something that I sowed about 3 months ago without realizing has kind of really bloomed into this massive shrubbery of, or is it shrubbery? Just forest, let's say, of sorrel, which is, you know, a super nutritious perennial green leafy vegetable, which for me has kind of been the next thing. When I wanted to do this planter box that you can see, I wanted to do it in a way that it would be supplementary, everything I've got in here, to my lifestyle. So it'd be something that I wouldn't have to, it wouldn't have be a pain point to get it from the supermarket, because I could just simply cut it and put it on my food, and not so like difficult that by the time I get it, it's very limited in its use. So what I mean by that is, if I was to grow, say, some potatoes or starches, yes, that would work, but then a lot of that would be taking quite a lot of nutrients out of the soil, and because I go through them so much already, and they're quite kind of cheap for the most part of the year, it doesn't really feel worth it. But I feel with this spinach situation, like, because I can grow it and control how much I have of it, it gives me that sense of it's so much easier to kind of, when I forget to get spinach, like add it to something because I've got it growing in the garden and I've facilitated that. So it kind of feels like how you've, look at that piece, look at that, beautiful. Oh yeah, it's got a little hole in it, cool. So we've got some very hungry caterpillars. So I guess that's kind of where I'm at. So it's just kind of, I don't know, it's very cathartic. Just, you know, I guess as weird as it sounds, like I'm the fastest I've ever been, but I've become more of an old man, really, just tending to my garden and, you know, taking things nice and steady, kind of like, you know, the tortoise and the hare, you know, not necessarily falling for, you know, people's goals of me wanting to do a marathon because they're doing a marathon, but understanding, or people wanting me to do high rocks or something. A lot of people have said that. Just kind of finding your own space, really, and that's kind of, I think what this is about. Don't worry, I'll wash all these before I put them in my soup. And yeah, I guess that's the kind of thing, and just being able to harness my culture and kind of cook a lot of hearty Italian dishes is always something that puts a smile on my face. So it's kind of meal prep too. So I think that's the difference. Like, well, maybe younger, I wouldn't have done an event like this, or I would have left it last minute, or I would have played video games on the day leading up to it without much thought. This day I've kind of like, without realizing how disciplined I've been, just lead a lifestyle that's conducive for such levels of performance. And yeah, it just makes me really proud to look back and hopefully inspire other people to do the same. So that's simply it, me just harvesting some sorrel from my planter box pre-race prep. And I should probably talk about some other stuff I'm doing on the day. So I've been, you know, lots of carbohydrates, low fat meal, with fat stick and makes it difficult for oxygen to circulate. So we're trying to keep the fats extremely low, carbs very high, because we need to fill our glycogen stores. So we've got glucose to utilize during the run, which will be used as energy for speed, because you can't run completely hungry and starving. It doesn't exist. So there's that component. So that's like days before, right? I've had my B12. I've been supplementing with B12 shots. We're doing my own injections, which has been really interesting to learn that. I'm having beetroot juice. I've got my beetroot shots for the day. I've got a caffeine gel that I never really take a caffeine gel, but this time, because it's race, I'm taking it on the day. Like all these little things, and kind of figuring out my race kit, and more importantly, practicing the finish of the photo being that last surge, and kind of doing it in training over and over again when you've got nothing left in the tank and just letting it all out gives me confidence that by the time I get to that last 1 kilometer or that final photo finish where the photographers are, that I can really go into that, you know, sprint when it doesn't seem like I've got anything in me. So that's kind of like the whole plan for tomorrow, and of course locking in to have some beautiful music to get in the zone. So it's a lot, but you know, I'm really excited to give it my all, really, and yeah, do my best. So as I always say, conquer mountains, conquer life. But I guess don't be afraid if those mountains that you wanted to conquer get delayed somewhat or shift as you're going to conquer them, because I guess you're still conquering something in a sense, and that's what you should be proud of. So as I always say, conquer mountains, conquer life, conquer race day, conquer life.